Thank you guys for joining. As you join, please drop in the chat where you're calling from. We'll love to know who all we're speaking to. Okay, see Tallahassee. My niece actually just graduated from FAMU from down there, so I was down there a lot in the past 4 years. So welcome. Indiana, awesome. Jacksonville, love it. Chicago. I am trying to visit there soon. What about you, E?
Oh, yeah, I'm joining from Tampa, Florida.
Awesome. I'm from Atlanta. Of course, you see my background. So I am ATL all the way, born and raised. South Carolina. Hi, Joyce. Welcome. Bay Area. Awesome. If you're just joining, please let us know where you're calling from. We're going to give it about 1 more minute to allow others to join before starting. Florida, is it rainy down there? When I visited not too long ago, it rained a lot while I was there, but we still had fun. Kansas City. So welcome everyone. We have people everywhere. I love it. Thank you guys for taking time out your day to join us. So it is 1:03, and I'm going to start with a quick icebreaker to still give people time to join. Texas, love it. I'm putting it in the chat as well. I want you to describe your mood today. A, sunshine. B, cloudy. C, rainy. D, thundery. E, rainbow. So if you just put your response in the chat, we'll love it. We have a lot of B's. A lot of cloudies. Come on, y'all. Okay, we have a rainbow. Love it, love it. Well, I would say I am between an A and an E. An A and an E. I think I'm there. So totally understand. So hopefully we can get the B's, the C's. If it was any D's, we can get you guys to be more of an A or an E by the time the end of this event. So that's our goal. So we're going to work towards that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And first, I want to just welcome you all for joining. So we are thrilled to have you join us for this inspiring event that aims to empower and elevate the educational experience in the tech community. Whether you are a seasoned professional, a student eager to learn, or someone passionate about technology, this gathering promises to be a game-changing journey. Our goal is to provide a platform where knowledge is shared, viewpoints are expanded, and new opportunities are discovered. We extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. Your presence here today signifies your commitment to staying ahead of the curve, embracing the power of education, and ever-evolving world of technology. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired. Let's embark on this enlightened journey together as we educate and elevate ourselves, empower a brighter future for the tech community. I am Tasha Lawrence, one of your hosts for today, Educate and Elevate. And it's a pleasure to virtually meet each and every one of you. I'm going to start off by going over the agenda to give you guys some insight of what we're going to go over today, as well as introduce our tech team. So hopefully they all are here. I know some are not going to be here because they had a meeting to go over. So, but we will still let you know who they are. So of course, I started off with the welcome, and welcome, welcome, welcome again. Next, we'll do meet our tech team. We'll have a quick survey. We'll dive into understanding web development, and we'll highlight the Odin Project. We have a spotlight today of one of our scholarships alumni, another survey. We'll dive into information technology and the Google certification. And then we'll top everything off with some of the perks that we'll be releasing that we're gonna unleash today. We'll do a recap, event closing, of course, general Q&A to let you guys have time to ask questions if needed. So we're gonna start off with meet our tech team. I'm not 100% sure, but our fearless leader, Kashif Wizard, if he's on, could you please welcome everyone?
Surely. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're residing. My name is Kashif Wizard. I'm the National Director of Dream.org's Tech Program. And as Tasha previously mentioned, frankly, just honored to be a part of your journey. You know, it is our commitment to ensure that you have access to resources that enable you, and excuse the lighting, but you have access to resources to ensure you're able to build upon the skill sets that you have, pursue entrepreneurial and technical endeavors of your desire. We're here to activate and unlock you, as just to unlock your power, frankly. So looking forward to continuing to build this space. And with that, Tasha, I'll pass it back to you to see who else is available from our team.
Awesome. Well, of course, I'm on here. I'm the special project manager. You guys have already met me. I kind of oversee community engagement, have my hands in a little of everything. So you probably will receive emails from me, just kind of asking for surveys. I help with budget and different things in that nature. Also, is Michael on? I thought I saw his name. Michael, can you introduce yourself if you're on? Well, maybe he's not on. Michael is our Senior Manager of Tech Entrepreneurship. So he focused on entrepreneur, climate tech, and different things in that nature. He's our newest member on our tech team, so we welcome him. And hopefully the next time, maybe he'll be on so he can introduce himself and you guys can put a name with a picture. EJ, which is Adelia Jordan, she's the Director of Career Pathways. She's not on today because her and Alex, which is the Senior Associate of Career Pathways, are trying to make a partnership for those career pathways to be able to assist you guys in finding those jobs. So they do welcome you guys from a distance, but they are here. And then Emmanuel, I will let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sorry, Zoom shenanigans. Yes, my name is Emmanuel. I am the digital organizer with Dream.org. I work very closely with the tech team. A lot of the digital communications that you may receive, I write and I curate. And yeah, no, I'm just excited to be here. I'm based in Boulder, Colorado, but currently staying in Tampa, Florida. And we have a lot of great information to go over today with you guys. So thanks again for attending, and I'll pass it back to you, Tasha.
Awesome. So we have another survey question. How familiar are you with the role of a web developer? Go one more, Emmanuel. A, very familiar. You've worked in web developer for multiple years. B, moderate familiar. Some knowledge, but just a little web development. C, somewhat familiar. I have basic understanding, but limited practical experience. D, not familiar at all. If you guys can put those in the chat. Awesome. Well, we have some A's, C's, D's. Okay, so great. So web development will be our first topic for today, and I'm going to pass it over to you, E.
Thanks, Tasha. Cool. Let's get into web development. So our first topic of the day, Web development is essentially the practice of building and maintaining websites or web applications. It's a really creative field, and it's constantly evolving with, all kinds of new technologies. And as a web developer, you can, we'll talk about this in our next slide, but you can do work such as designing visually appealing and smooth reactive websites, which is more front-end work. Or managing data and operating with server-side logic, so backend, all the stuff that you don't see. We call that backend work. And the great thing about this field is that it allows you to work with, all kinds of industries, right? Because everything is online, business is done online. You can solve problems that really kind of impact businesses significantly. Moving on to our next slide. So let's break it down a bit further. Front-end web development. Let's look at front-end versus back-end web development. So front-end developers create the visual elements of a website that users interact with. They work on the layout, the design, and responsiveness features for various different devices, right? And so if you're a web developer, you're not just thinking about how things look on a computer. You're thinking about how they look on a phone or a tablet. You're thinking about how you can make it as reactive as possible so that users get to see the data that they want as quickly as possible. Whereas, you're going to be working with, different frameworks like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Angular. But on the other hand, you have backend developers. And so they handle, pretty much the components that you don't see, right? So a website is more than just like the glowing rectangle, like your screen, right? There's also servers that need to talk to each other, servers that need to talk to ISPs, and ISPs need to talk to your internet or your router, and your router needs to talk to your computer. And so really facilitating that kind of those smooth interactions. They tend to ensure that the general website functions well, it's secure, and it performs at its best. So backend developers tend to work with different frameworks, Python, Ruby, PHP, Node, JS, Ruby on Rails, etc. Bringing it together, a full stack web developer is somebody who is a professional that covers both front end and back end technologies. So these professionals are proficient in all languages, or some frameworks. You kind of have to specialize. But they're comfortable with designing the front end of a website and the back end. And so as you can see, you can imagine, there is very good, these front full stack developers are in demand because of their very comprehensive skill set. In terms of job market and demand for web development, the US Bureau of Labor Statistics reports some very encouraging numbers. It's actually one of the top 10, I believe, or within the top 20 fastest growing occupations, due to businesses increasing their online presence. So in 2021, there were about 200,000 web developer jobs, and this is projected to grow 23% between 2021 and 2031. This translates cumulatively to about 21,800 job openings for web developers year over year between 2021 and 2031. And the median annual wage for web developers was about $77,000 a year as of May 2021. When we're looking at web developers' salary by experience, we've pulled numbers from Glassdoor and PayScale because they are kind of the largest players in the field when it comes to job kind of salary data. PayScale tends to report more accurate numbers because it is not as big, because Glassdoor kind of more relies on self-reported data. But we put these numbers here to give you an example of the kind of money that you can expect, from entry level all the way to many years of experience. So if you're just starting out in the web development field, you can expect to make anywhere from 52,000 as reported by PayScale to 64,000. And as you can see by this graph, this number tends to increase over time. Now, these are conservative, what I would consider to be conservative estimates, because, once you get, and we'll talk about this for IT too, 1, 2, 3 years of experience, you'll be able to leverage that experience into a more senior role, which tends to pay quite a bit more. Moving on, the course that we are recommending that you start with if you're interested in starting a career in web development is the Odin Project. This is a free, self-paced course, which is perfect for those seeking kind of that flexibility in their learning schedule. What sets the Odin Project apart is its emphasis on real-world applications. And so you're going to be actually building projects and getting your hands dirty, and really building your portfolio in the process. So not only are you learning, but you're going to be able to build up a portfolio or have a solid portfolio by the end of the course. More specifically, we're recommending that you start with their foundations course, which will go over all the prerequisite information that you'll need to then move on to their JavaScript course. And then at that point, you can choose to take their Ruby on Rails course as well. But really, I think you're better off. It's not the language that you learn or the framework that you learn isn't as important as just learning it. But JavaScript tends to be a lot more versatile in terms of like what you can do with it. Not only is this a really great open source course, it has a very active online community. So they have a very active Discord, which is built for folks, if you're working through the course and you have any questions or something that you can't figure out, you can always join the Discord and ask questions. That's what it's for, and somebody will respond to you, as long as you do it in a respectful way. The Odin Project has a very successful or demonstrated track record of transitioning students into successful web development careers, to graduates moving to roles such as full stack developer, front end, or back end. And to get started, all you have to do is go to the Odin Project and click their foundations course. And again, it's completely 100% free and self-paced.
Awesome. Okay, everyone. So I'm going to also do a spotlight now of one of our scholarship alumni. But while we're transitioning for that, if you've actually heard of Odin or taken an Odin course, could you put an A in there for yes and B for no in the chat so we can see how many people have heard of, or is this something new for you? So as we go transition to the spotlight, her name is Ava, and she actually is a scholarship alumni. So we are so excited to have her. She received a scholarship for us, and it helped pay for one of her boot camps. So Emmanuel, Ava, if you could go ahead and start sharing your screen to as you tell them a little bit about yourself, and we welcome you and thank you for joining us today.
Okay, I'm not able to share my screen.
One moment, let me see if you're a co-host or not. You should have permissions now.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready whenever you're ready.
You can go ahead now.
Okay, thank you so much, Tasha, for introducing me. My name is Eva. Some people call me Bugs, other people call me Odide. And I'm working as a cloud security cloud engineer, partly with IT, but in the cloud field. So I will share my story. And I was this is just the outline of everything I'm going to share: my values, my vision, the resources I used, and I'll take you through the obstacles that I went through and what my next step is. So my values, I believe in accountability, in persistence, and in integrity, and I've used those to help to build my brand. I used to be an educator. I was in the education sector for about 8 years. I worked as a teacher. I did pretty much almost everything, but I started to look for something that was way more challenging and more interesting, because after you've worked in one sector for a while, you kind of want to switch it up. And I looked at a lot of different avenues that I could use and things that I could do. And I decided to go into tech, but the certifications were so expensive. So I found Dream Organization that helped to pay for my certification that I'm currently doing right now. I'm actually doing like 2 certifications in cloud security and also in AWS, and those have helped to fund my courses. And I want to be able to become a cloud engineer, focus on cloud security and cybersecurity and auditing. And my long-term career goal is to be able to support, motivate, and mentor other people so that they can be able to make the transition into tech. Currently, I'm working more in cloud, but more as IT. So I do the supporting and I do the tickets, but more under AWS cloud. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm on the tier of getting into cloud engineering. So how was I able to get into the path that I'm on now? One of the things I did was to search for resources, and I used each and everything that I had because it's pretty expensive and I only had very limited finances to make it work. So I used the library. I think each and everybody, I think most of the people here live in the States, and all the libraries that you have usually have free resources. I found free classes that my library offers. I live in LA, and the LA County Library offers like free Coursera certifications that you can sign up, and they have a lot of free books and a lot of different free resources. So it's good to sign up and look into your library and see what you can find. I also connected with a lot of people on LinkedIn. I use Twitter too, and I use Discord, and I was able to find a lot of different small certifications that I could do, like books. When I was reading for the CCSK, I found somebody on Twitter who shared with me like a CCSK book. So it's good to tap into those resources so you can be able to get resources without spending a lot of money. Another thing is, if you're trying to do the shift, is like certifications in IT, in tech. Certifications are really, really important. So as I did a lot of research, I found that the certifications that are on market right now and they are really employing is more like Salesforce, ITIL, CCSK, which I'm currently taking, AWS certifications, which I'm currently taking. I signed up for the AWS SysOps, Azure, and ServiceNow. So if you're thinking of getting into the line of tech, IT, you have to look for the right certifications that you will need, because they increase your marketability when people are trying to hire and they're trying to get you into their companies. That's one of the first things that they'll ask. They'll be like, okay, do you have the knowledge? And then also, do you have the certifications? And also within the company, they increase your marketability because certain companies want to, like AWS likes to partner with companies that have employees that have AWS certifications. So look at certifications and see the certifications that match with where you want to go. So obstacles. I faced quite a number of obstacles when I was trying to make the transition into tech. The first thing I would say is finances, which I shared with you guys. And then that's how I was able to get resources. I looked at the library. I looked at different areas and avenues in which I would be able to get resources. The second obstacle I faced is the imposter syndrome. So once you get that first job, or let's say you start going for those conferences or they're talking about like different parts of technology, you will be faced with the imposter syndrome. You start asking yourself, am I good enough? You know, am I, is this the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? So I used a lot of mindset. There's a book called Mindset by Carol Dweck that focuses on using a positive mindset. So I did that, and I did a lot of meditation. And I also networked with a lot of people to help me get into the right mindset so I could overcome imposter syndrome. And then the other thing that people share is like time. Oh, I don't have the time to study. I don't have the time to do this boot camp. I can't sign up for the Odin Project. You know, I'm so busy. I have 2 jobs. But the whole thing about time is you create it. I had 2 jobs, and one of them was like a delivery job that I had to do. So what I used to do is I was like, you know what? We have 24 hours in a day. If I split those 24 hours in a day into 3 parts, I have 16 hours that I can use maybe for work, but I have these other 8 hours. I could sacrifice a bit of sleep. I could sacrifice a bit of time here when I'm traveling so I could have time to be able to study. So sometimes I had to wake up at 3 in the morning and I would start to read, and just to make sure I could pass my starts and get practice for like different parts. So I had to script. And then sometimes when I was moving or in transition or waiting, I downloaded lots of different apps so I could maximize all the time. You know, where maybe you're waiting in Starbucks or you're waiting for something, I would have an app and I'm like learning how to do Python. So I think with time, you kind of have to create it. And then the last part is my next stop. My next stop is to make a positive difference in the environment for future techies. And the way I thought about climate change is I used to think climate change is like you kind of have to plant trees. You kind of have to go to the beach and clean. I didn't realize that there was the aspect of using technology to be able to support climate change. But when I spoke to Emmanuel and the team at Dream, I realized that I could still make a difference in the technology world. And that is my next stop. So I've shared everything. I don't know if you have any questions and if you would like me to share a little bit more, but pretty much that's it.
Awesome. We can take 2 questions if anyone have a question. You could put it in the chat or you can come off mute and ask her a question. Awesome. And since you spoke about climate, the climate tech, going clean climate, we actually have a scholarship that's gonna open August the 7th and up until October that you guys can apply for, that we are focused on climate, clean climate. And it will be $3,500 and about at least 50 scholarships that will be given out. So please stay tuned for that. You guys will receive information via email once it's open, but make sure you put that on your calendar so you can apply for it, because that scholarship can actually help you be able to transition or pivot into a different role. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that inspiring story. And we wish you nothing but success. And please keep us updated on how you transition into your future tech roles.
Okay, I'm gonna share my LinkedIn if anybody's interested to connect or would like to ask more questions on how I got into cloud. I would be willing to answer any questions.
You are awesome. Thank you so very much. Okay, so Emmanuel, if you can pull back up the slides. So of course, you guys know me and my surveys. So which of the following is an example of an input device? Is it A, printer, B, monitor, C, keyboard, or D, speaker? Put your answers in the chat. Okay, we have a lot of C's. Okay, I see you guys. Well, the answer is C. So great job, everyone, in getting that answer correct. Emmanuel, I'll pass it over to you to talk about IT.
Awesome. One moment here while I get us sorted. Cool. Yeah, well, so let's talk about IT. Information, IT stands for information technology, and its main goal is to really, IT concentrates on the application and management of computer systems and telecommunications to handle various forms of data. IT is a very vast space, but at its core, it involves tasks such as data storage, retrieval, transmission, and manipulation. In practice, this could mean maintaining a company's digital database, ensuring secure and fast data transmission between departments, or even managing the company's website and online platforms. These functions are integral into a business's daily operations in our increasingly digital world, enabling smoother communication, efficient data handling, and ultimately enhancing productivity and efficiency. Within the broad field of IT, there are numerous roles that you can explore, each with its own unique set of responsibilities and challenges. As a help desk role, you're going to be the front line of IT support, aiding computer users and hardware with hardware or software problems. So this can be, this can involve like troubleshooting software issues, assisting with hardware setup / software setup, or even helping users understand how to use certain applications effectively. This role often marks kind of the beginning of an IT career. It's one of the easiest roles to get, I think, throughout the tech sector right now. And, regardless of whether you want to end up in, web development or cybersecurity, starting out with as a help desk technician can really help you gain kind of that tech familiarity to move on to more advanced roles within the tech space. Another common role is network / systems admins. Often these terms are used interchangeably. And as one, you would be in charge of the daily operation of an organization's computer networks. This means things like ensuring the safety of the network, performing system updates, monitoring network performance, and resolving any issues that arise. Lastly, another role within IT can involve being a systems analyst. And as one, you would work closely with managers to identify IT-related needs. This could be things such as designing new data management systems, improving current processes, or even integrating new technologies into the business. Your goal is to essentially, as a systems analyst, is to design and implement systems that enhance an organization's efficiency and in turn, its overall success. Actually, going back to the last slide, because I think it's important to note that the field of IT is really, really big. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities to kind of specialize, as Ava spoke on. From help desk, you then go on to do cybersecurity or cloud security specifically, or cloud engineering. So there's a lot of kind of space within the IT field to specialize. And again, I think it's one of the easiest, and I'm using that word lightly, easiest fields to kind of get a foot in the door in the tech space. And there's so much that you can specialize in. Just like web development, the demand for IT professionals are on the rise. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics classifies help desk technicians as user computer support specialists. And while the growth rate is average at 6% from 2021 to 2031, there are projected to be about 75,000 job openings projected each year. So again, as a help desk technician, you won't be making $1 million, but often these roles, forgot to mention, often these roles tend to be remote and serve as a really great launch pad for more lucrative, higher paying careers within the tech space. Moving up though, network and systems admins tend to make a little bit more money. Their growth rate is actually below average, but despite its below average growth rate, they're still projected to be about 24,000 job openings each year between 2021 and 2031. And the median annual wage is higher here at $80,000 as of May 2021. For the salary trajectory, we just went over that the median salary for help desk technicians, as reported by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, does start around $50K. But as you kind of gain more experience, you can leverage your help desk experience to get a network/systems admin role in conjunction with additional certifications. And you can expect to make more money and have a lot of room for growth there, as shown by the graph here. To get started in IT, you are going to want, or we recommend starting with Google's IT Support Professional Certificate. This program has specifically been crafted by industry professionals at Google to cover essential IT support concepts that you'll need to get started, especially for help desk roles. A unique aspect of this course is its alignment with the CompTIA A+ certification. This curriculum aligns with the updated objectives of the A+ exams. And so as you go through this course, by the end, you should be equipped to successfully take the A+ exam and receive that dual certification from Google and CompTIA. Now, this is, diverging from the script here a little bit. A+, along with Network Plus and Security Plus, are considered the CompTIA trifecta and are integral certifications to starting a career within the IT space, especially if you don't have a degree. And so that's why we're recommending this course. The main reason is, one, that the Grow with Google courses are very robust, very in-depth. They're not $1 million. I believe there is a 7-day free trial, and that moves to about $40 a month. But Tasha, we are working on getting a scholarship opportunity here that will enable folks to take courses with the career certificate for free. That is an excellent question, Austin. I'll make sure to answer that during our Q&A. So yeah, to get started with this course, just Google, Grow with Google IT Support Professional Certificate, and you can get started today. This course does take about 6 months to complete at 10 hours a week, but you can definitely speed that process up, 3 months at 20 hours, and so on and so forth. This course will also qualify you for entry-level roles such as help desk technician. And that's really kind of the game plan, right? You would take this course, upon completing it, start applying for help desk roles, and then gain that experience while pursuing the rest of the CompTIA trifecta, and leverage all of that experience to either specialize or acquire a job in network/systems administration. Cool. And I will pass it over to you, Tasha. Tasha, I think you're on mute.
You are right. Thank you, Emmanuel. So y'all know I am asked a question because I want some participation. So are you someone that appreciate additional incentives and rewards? A for yes and B for no. I love the A+, yes. I am one. I love incentives. Yes, it makes everything worthwhile. Okay, Iman, you can go to the next slide. So I want to introduce our Tech Resource Guide, which is on Wiki. So you'll have access to the topics spoke about today. It's kind of, like I said, it's our resource guide, as well as the previous Educate and Elevate, which was previously called Chat and Chew. You would get the details of job roles, possible salaries, growth forecasts, details on Google prep for interviews, if you're taking their certification. So you'll get a lot of different information and resources that you'll have. You'll always have access to that information, so you can go back anytime if you want to learn more about web developer, if you want to learn more about data analytics or anything that we've already touched base on, you'll always have access to that, and it's free of charge. The next slide, E. And our tech learning community. By popular demand, this was a question that we asked last time, would people be interested in this? And it won. So yes, we are launching that as of today. So you'll be working with network like-minded people. You'll foster accountability and support. So as Eva mentioned earlier, that like when she had to read the book for that support to kind of get her mindset of making sure, thinking she's not good enough. That's what the accountability and the support is. It's always great to have someone on your team. Emmanuel and myself will be there to always give you that extra push or that extra, let you know that you have this. No one never said it will be easy. It will be challenging at times, but you are capable and you can do it. We're going to claim it from the beginning. You'll be able to collaborate with problem solving. You'll have a dedicated Slack channel so you all can be able to speak or ask questions as you're going. There will be a weekly or bi-weekly 20-minute stand-up meeting. That's just to make sure everyone is on track and staying on track to be able to finish the course. But you also will have access to the GPT-4A1 tutor. So our bot there, you will have access as tutor. You can ask questions to it. You'll have access to that. Our application is available now. E, can you put the application in the chat? You have access now that you can go ahead and start filling out. It's a limited number of spots. So we advise you as soon as possible to go ahead and put that in. And then it will also be in the recap email that will be coming out next week. Emmanuel, I'll pass it over to you for a recap.
Awesome. Yeah, and I just kind of want to clarify too. So give me 1 second. Sorry, it's hard to navigate Zoom, and here we are. Yeah, so building off of what Tasha said, the Tech Learning Community is a virtual study group based initiative. We pair people together based off of their selected career path. And we have a course that we have selected to get started on each career path. We've talked about these courses today, but we've also talked about them in our previous events. And all of this information can be found within our resource wiki, which I will also drop the link to right now. Essentially, we want to, help support you as you navigate these courses. And so by joining the learning community, you're going to be getting access to our GPT-4 powered AI tutor. For those who are not, familiar with kind of the recent AI boom, ChatGPT-4 is the most cutting edge language model out right now, produced by OpenAI, and it is capable of creating very detailed responses and providing very technical answers to any questions that you may have as you kind of encounter as you embark on taking these courses. So very excited for that. I just dropped the link to the resource guide and then the application for the Tech Learning Community here in the chat. If you are not sure which career path that you'd like to commit to, check out our resource wiki. Make sure you read through that. In Austin, to answer your question, once we do Q&A, I'll do like a live demo of the resource wiki so folks can see how to navigate that. But yeah, so to recap very quickly, web development is a very dynamic and constantly evolving field with very diverse roles and a strong job market. And so resources like the Odin Project can help you start your journey there. Information technology is integral to modern businesses, offering numerous roles and opportunities to specialize. And for that, we're recommending that you start with the Google IT Professional Certificate in conjunction with the CompTIA A+ certification to start in this field. Both of these fields offer promising salary trajectories, reflecting the increasing demand for these skills. And our Tech Resource Wiki and our Tech Learning Community Program provide quite a comprehensive learning resources and supportive communities to help you navigate these career paths. Tosh, would you like to do the Q&A before we do the closing survey, or?
Yes, please.
Cool.
So we open the floor up now for any Q&A. You can either write it in the chat or you can come off mute and ask the question. So earlier today, Emmanuel, we received a question about the AI.
Yeah, so I know there's a lot of anxiety around the role that AI is going to take, the capacity in which AI is going to impact the future of the tech sector. And to that, I will say, you know, while the technology is very impressive, we're still a long ways before AI can do all the things that, say, a software developer, web developer, data analyst, cybersecurity analyst can do. And so I think it's right to have a little bit of concern, but I think that to prepare yourself, what you can do is just start to use these technologies, integrate them into your day-to-day, into your workflow, use them for projects. There's GitHub Copilot, for example, or, you know, even just ChatGPT and just learning different prompting techniques, I think will serve you very well and look great on a resume. We just in our tech learning or tech community Slack space, we just had a weekly discussion thread centering around a free program that Microsoft has just dropped that helps you. It's a generative AI training program. So specifically, so you can learn like different prompting techniques as it pertains to like language models. And yeah, I think the best thing that you can do really is just use these tools, use these platforms, and become familiar with them, because they can be very powerful tools to write just a lot of boilerplate code, you know, stuff that would just, it's repetitive and monotonous, you know. And you know, it's not coming for anybody's jobs quite yet. I think we're still quite a ways from there. So I still think tech is a great bet right now.
Awesome. Our next question. What would you recommend for someone who already has A+ and Network+?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, that's awesome, and keep it up. I think, you know, at that point, you are more than qualified to start applying for help desk roles. You know, certifications are great and they show employers that like you are willing to, you're a learner. And I think that takes you very, very far. But at that point, you know, I would start just putting your application out there for those help desk roles, gaining that experience, and then, you know, working, you know, maybe a year in that capacity, so that you can just learn and absorb as much as you can. While you do that, if you have A+, Network+, I would consider pursuing Security+. And you can take Google's cybersecurity course with their Grow with Google program to obtain Security+ as a dual certification with that certificate. And then at that point, you'll have the trifecta, and you can use that to pursue, you know, like a network / systems admin's role in conjunction with your help desk experience.
Awesome. Can you give an example of how this certification and skill set development could assist those? Hold on.
Actually,
who are working in criminal justice and the criminal justice field? Yes.
Before I answer that, I think, is it okay, Tasha, if I do like a brief demo of the wiki, because it has a lot of this stuff I'm talking about in there too as well?
Awesome. Yes, you sure can.
Sweet. So I've compiled this resource wiki here. And in it, there are various career paths that you can explore and learn a lot more about. For example, so for Austin, if you are interested in pursuing that cybersecurity career certificate or getting a Security Plus. You know, within the resource wiki, you can read about the course. And then, you know, for all of the career paths, there's an additional section. We didn't cover this today, but next steps after the course, which goes over, okay, now that you've taken this or now that you've gotten this certification, here's kind of what you can do to build upon that momentum and help you acquire that tech or job in its respective career paths. So it's different. Of course, it's going to be different for every career path, right? For UX design, it's really about like building your portfolio. So there are tips here on like successful portfolios and different platforms that you can use to help build your portfolio, such as Daily UI or Design Challenge from UpLabs, different Reddit spaces that you can join to connect with other folks who are embarking on a similar career path as yourself. So really, you know, the resource wiki is there to give you, you know, provide a lot of that information that you could find in maybe a couple hours of Googling. But I really try to condense all of that stuff and put it in one place to equip you guys with the skills that the tools that you need to build, you know, successful tech careers. There's also like a financial aid section here too. The Career Certificates program from Google has its own financial aid, and we're going to be working on getting scholarships through a partnership with their program fairly soon. But it also includes links to additional resources, such as Best College's own bootcamp scholarship guide, which breaks it down by, you know, need-based, minority, disability, software engineering scholarships, etc. So I would encourage folks to definitely take some time to explore this wiki here and explore what different career paths are available to you within the tech space.
Awesome. Thank you for the information. We currently also have office hours that are available. So if you're not sure and want to explore more with us one-on-one, you're welcome to make appointments to visit, to speak to myself and Emmanuel during our office hours. I don't see any more questions. I will answer the questions I actually answered on the chat. Austin had a question about the cost of the courses. Google, yes, it's $49 a month, but we are working on scholarships for that, which we're hoping it will be we receive within the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. If you take the course before then, you will have to pay out of pocket. But if you take the Odin Project, that one is completely free. So you can start with the Odin Project. I know the application asks which course that you are taking. So you can actually start there if you want to, or we will be waiting maybe the first class to know you guys have to register for whatever certificate you're trying to get. Emmanuel, if you can pull up the survey. So of course, we appreciate everyone for joining and staying with us the whole time and being very active with us. I know I asked you guys a lot of questions, so thank you for your answers. We would like to know how did we do? So if you could please scan the QR code and fill out the survey. It's only 7 questions, so it will take you a minute and a half, 2 minutes the most. But just some information, some questions about today's course. About the speaking, were you entertained? You know, just kind of know to give us some feedback. We are really appreciated because it helps us be able to better prepare for the next class. If something need to be changed, something need to be kept. You will also receive surveys also via email sometimes in the future. But if you could just go ahead and complete those surveys, because it helps with the programming we have for you guys, as well as opportunities that we may have, and for us to be able to know which direction we need to go. If anyone have any additional questions, please ask. The floor is still open. And if not, if you complete the survey, we'll go ahead and end today's call. Thank you guys again for joining. We really do appreciate you all joining us today. E, can you play some exit music?
Thank you.
Also, if you are interested in the tech learning community, the proof of enrollment question has been removed, so you do not have to you do not have to be enrolled in the course to apply. Oh, I think we also missed a question regarding the, I'm not sure if the individual is still here.
Do you want to go ahead and answer it because we want to send out the recording?
Yes. It was by closing. I'm going to check to see. Oh, they're still here. So yeah, apologies about that. Their question was, can you give an example of how the certification and skill set development could assist those who are working in criminal justice and abolition fields? That is a good one. I would have to think about that. I think, for purposes of advocacy in general, I think a major component is having that online presence. And so, I would say certain career paths more than others will be better aligned to assist, folks maybe who are systems impacted, kind of tell their stories, or launch successful campaigns. And so, like, if you take web development or you take the Odin Project, for example, by the end of that course, you should be equipped to build, fluid and reactive websites for a particular campaign or an issue or petition that you're looking to get the word out about. Data analytics, I think, would be good in the sense of if you're trying to extract insights from a particular data set pertaining to criminal justice, it could be useful there. But then I would say, like, the UX design, of course, would be amazing in, like, being able to build at least the front end of those websites and apps. But beyond that, there's not like a direct connection outside of those things that I can name. In order to scan the QR code, with your phone. And I will drop the link to the survey in the chat as well here too. But I hope that answers your question. That is the biggest connection there I could identify.
Oh, it answered it. It answered it very well. Thank you. I was already looking at the Odin Project and UX, so having you tell me that also lets me know I'm on the right pathway. I appreciate that.
Thank you. And I just dropped a link to the survey in the chat. Please do fill this out. It's only 7 questions long. They're multiple choice. So if you can just put that out for us, that really helps us inform how we create future events. Awesome. Remember, if you haven't already, please do fill out that survey for us.
Emmanuel, are you going to put the link to the survey in the chat?
I already dropped it in there.
Okay, I don't see it. That's why I asked. Thank you.
I have a question from Alex. I have a very general question, but my CompTIA certifications expired some years back, and I was wondering if I should pay out of pocket to recertify or rely on an employer. That's an excellent question. I would say if you have the employer If you can do it through an employer, I would definitely do it that way. A great resource that's in the resource wiki that I'm going to share is Professor Messer's cybersecurity courses. And so he does, I'll drop his link here. Amazing guy, cybersecurity professional with, decades of experience. And he's basically dedicated his life to putting out free training videos for the certification, for the CompTIA trifecta. So A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. And so if this is a free resource that you might be interested in leveraging to kind of, learn the latest curriculum, pass the test, and get recertified. But I would say too, if you can, do it through your employer, I would definitely take that pathway as well. Did that answer your question there, Alex? And no problem, Cozy. I'm glad I could help.
Awesome. If you're still on and you've completed the survey, if you can drop your LinkedIn in the chat, then that way we all can stay in contact with each other. If you've completed the survey, you're actually able to leave if you need to be. If anybody have any questions, please let us know.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to start moving folks into the waiting room here, but don't hesitate to reach out if you have any further questions. I can be reached at alumni@dream.org. Tasha and I will both receive your emails from there. Otherwise, thank you, and we'll see you next month for another session. Okay, that's everybody in the waiting.
Awesome. Hey, Alex. Hi, Kashif.
Hi, guys.
Hey, team. Good session. Good session.
Yeah.
See, just based on the comments and even not just comments, some people spoke. I think that engagement is always the thing. How to attain engagement during the call, but the surveys built in there, the information, the amount of information, like you all had a pretty good balance today with information, engagement. I could see the intentionality. So hoping, to continue to build on this. I think in subsequent weeks, we're going to have some deep dives, just especially now that we have on the books, right? The Slack for Good funding. Like we've, in theory, been strengthening this mechanism, but now the rubber, whatever that saying is, the rubber hits the ground, right? So that we can ensure that this is moving people towards job placements and so forth. So yeah, they are getting better by the event. I didn't attend the last one, but I just based on the feedback I heard and the experience I had here, again, I see the intentionality to build on what you all have been learning. So thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah.
Alex, you was at both of them. Your thoughts?
Honestly, I came in a little later, but from what I saw, great engagement. even just in the chat, and people, some people recognize me, so they private message me hey Alex, things like that. So I think what we're doing is finally making those relationships, that trust that we needed in people, for people to really kind of see hey, dream.org is helping me out, and that creates that engagement. So definitely do think it went really well, from what I saw at the end. But I'll definitely listen to the recording and stuff. But even just looking at the slides, they look way better, not as much info in there. It was